The left-wing woke movement is on the rise in Britain, universities continue to deplatform right-wing speakers, and we talk about how brexiteers and conservatives are fighting back. Right, this video is all about woke. For those of you who may not know what woke means in our culture these days, it's basically a bunch of lefties who are so enlightened that in order to fight against injustice, they have to bring down the Western civilization and our way of life because everything's bad and everything has to be destroyed. Now, since 2016, we saw a movement from the ordinary people's side that tried to fight back. We had Brexit in the UK, we had the Trump election in America and other countries too, France and other places, but that wasn't the end. We haven't actually completely won. Common sense hasn't won yet because when it comes to academia, media, the political establishment, the left are coming back to keep control of what they have. In this video, we're going to talk about a few examples. Let's start with The Guardian and the press. The Guardian, that is so woke and so liberal that if you make a joke, if you unintentionally offend someone, they will be on your doorstep, destroying your life and your reputation. This is what they did the other day with Priti Patel. Yes, Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, because she's a conservative. She's not white and she's a woman, but doesn't really count. If you're right wing, you're no longer a woman. So this is a cartoon that they made, and they turn her into a bull, and because she's a cow, obviously, according to The Guardian. This is the same Guardian that was very, very offended because of a cartoon of Serena Williams. That we're not going to actually show this because if it was a cartoon that showed her differently, and they said, well, this is basically based on race, and this is bad. Yeah, that's The Guardian. The hypocrisy of the left and the left-wing press. It doesn't stop there because the universities right now, especially our privileged woke universities like Oxford or Cambridge, are the worst. Amber Rudd, who used to be a Conservative MP. Now, she was a Tory MP, but she was hardly a Conservative. She was from the left wing of the Tory party. So she's not your typical right-winger. She happened to be invited to speak at an event at Oxford University, and she got deplatformed. Amber Rudd tweeted, badly judged and rude of some students last night at Oxford to decide to no platform me 30 minutes before an event I had been invited to for the International Women's Day to encourage young women into politics. They should stop hiding and start engaging. Now, the problem with all this is they will come after anyone. The issue is a lot of people out there are so complacent about this, and they say, well, it's not a priority, it's not really affecting my everyday life. Why? Because they say that, well, this country hasn't turned into North Korea yet. So do we have to wait until we turn into North Korea, then we should complain? No, we need to fight back now. Free speech is in danger and common sense is in danger. We had people defending Amber Rudd on this, even a right-winger like Jacob Rees-Mogg. Jacob Rees-Mogg tweeted, free speech is the bedrock of a democracy, and Oxford University ought to lead the way rather than being snowflake central. Now, it depends and it matters how we fight back. We've had a lot of people in the past from the right who fight back in a non-productive way, and it doesn't really work. We have to be smart about how we do these sort of things. And what happened with Amber Rudd worked really well when you had people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and everybody else defending her. Oxford University came back and actually apologized, basically. This is a tweet from by Oxford that said, we strongly disapprove of the decision by the UN Women Oxford UK Society to disinvite Amber Rudd after she had been asked to speak. Oxford is committed to freedom of speech and opposes no platforming. We will be taking steps to ensure that this situation doesn't happen in future. Yeah, so I mean, it's just a tweet, it's just a statement, but if they take action, good, well done. But that doesn't mean we've won. This, especially when it comes to International Women's Day, when there's a lot of misleading information going around every year, especially when it comes to the pay gap. We have things like this that goes around Twitter every year on this day. This is a Scottish Widows account that said, the gap starts small. By the age of 11, girls get less pocket money than boys. This financial gap increases to £78,000 by retirement. Oh, dear God. Yeah, because parents go around and say, if you're a girl, you get less pocket money. Yeah, so the issue with the pay gap, as most people who understand common sense know, that the way the left do it is nonsense, it's a lie, it's a myth, doesn't exist. It is already against the law to pay men and women differently if they do the same job, same level, same role. And if there are any examples, specific examples of cases, then we should be raised and we will fight back, and that's it. But the law is already there. The way they do this pay gap is basically, for as an example, an airline, what they do is they go around and at the average of everyone's pay, that includes the cabin crew and the pilots, and then they divide it by gender. Now, an airline, a cabin crew, the majority happen to be female. Pilots, the majority happen to be male, and pilots get more. And what they say is that, well, the airline staff members as a whole, male staff members get more than women. Well, yeah, because pilots get more money. What? Now, going back to deplatforming, this isn't the first time, because according to Spike, the website, in January 2018, Steve Bannon, the former director of Donald Trump's campaign and the former strategist, was actually invited to University of Chicago. A professor invited him to debate on campus. And he actually did say that whether you like Bannon, his views or not, he seems to have understood something about America. And I'm curious to learn more about it. And what happened at the end was that a lot of professors, 87 professors, demanded that the invitation to Bannon to be revoked and to be deplatformed, basically. And what happened was that 36 of them, in fact, were either English from the English department or the School of Social Work. And we know exactly why, because this is the group of the very woke illiberal liberal professors and university campuses. It's always the same type of people, and it's completely ridiculous. What's happening, for example, at University of Chicago is that these departments are running and writing the rules on free speech at these universities. Who died and made them God? And luckily, in this video, we're also talking about the positives. We are fighting back. And so, for example, this YouTube channel, we are starting a free speech movement. We are starting a nationwide tour. We're starting in Manchester. And if you watch to the end of the video, we'll give you details how you can attend that event. But in general, we actually have the Boris Johnson government trying to defend free speech. The Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson, has now given universities a final warning on free speech. He's considering greater regulation, possibly through law, if universities do not promote unambiguous guidance on academic freedom and free speech. One measure under consideration is to clarify the duties of students' unions. And we have Toby Young's new free speech union he has created for this movement, tweeting that Oxford University's own policy on free speech, as drafted by Timothy Garton, Ash and Ken MacDonald, as well as the EHRC's guidance on free speech at universities, published last year, and could be a breach of Oxford's legal duty to uphold free speech under Section 43 of the Education. Now, that was the media and then the academia, but the political establishment are no better. We have the Labour Party, who are going through the leadership election. They're obsessed with making sure that the next leader is female. And then the candidate who is actually leading and will probably become the next Labour leader is not only male, white, he's also quite rich. At the same time, a Labour MP tweeted this about the Boris Johnson's cabinet. This is Carl Turner MP, who said, "Doesn't that picture just reflect what the country looks like? Mostly white, incredibly rich, out of touch, southern men." And Carl Turner happens to be supporting Keir Starmer, who happens to be white, rich, out of touch, southern, and man. Yeah, that's happening. So, with the International Women's Day and the climate debate that's going on right now, we had the other day in London a group of women who went on one of the London bridges and decided to take their clothes off, basically, and protest. So, we're not going to actually show the actual footage properly, but this is what they were doing. I mean, are you surprised when you have a mayor of London who happens to be Sadiq Khan, a king of wokes, saying this at a rally during the International Women's Day.
Because we know there's a consequence to climate change and it impacts women and girls more than everyone else. Climate change to me is an issue that is a climate emergency, and as Helen said, we need climate justice. If we get climate justice, it addresses gender justice, but also it's an issue of social justice as well.
Now, my issue with that is that you can't just add the word justice to things and then make it a big deal. It doesn't work that way. And this is a very, very strategical move by the left that's been going on for decades, because the people who run the agenda are the intellectuals and the academics. So what they do is they spend days and hours and weeks reading things, theories, and coming up with new plans and new wording to take over their narrative. And they're quite successful, to be fair, because they use their intellectual prowess. And then we have Ash Sarker, the left-wing activist and so-called journalist. This is a while ago, but this is the clip that she said to talk about the population in the UK and based on skin colour.
The white British population has decreased by 600,000, while the minority population has increased by 1.2 million. So, yes, lads, we're winning. His language...
So, wait, what? Winning? What are we winning? What are they winning? Is it supposed to be about winning or losing? And is it about... should it be about changing people's skin colour in the UK, in Europe and in the West? This is a very, very dangerous route. And I don't understand what her point is. I think I know, but I really don't want to confirm it in my head, because I'm really worried about what they're trying to be doing to our culture, to our civilization. As most of you know, my family, my background is Persian. My family came here. My mother was a political refugee. And we came to the West to have freedom, to get away from the chaotic situation in the Middle East and in Asia in general. We didn't come here for people like Ash Sarker to destroy the values of what we have. Yeah, Ash Sarker. And this is exactly why we have started our new free speech movement, and we're doing a nationwide tour. We did our first event back in London in January. As you remember, we were joined by hundreds of you who came, had a few drinks, had a nice evening of political discussion. We are now going to Manchester on the 9th of April. We will be in central Manchester. I have now created the event. The link is in the description below this video. Check it out. Make sure you register as soon as possible. We do have a limited capacity. Last time back in London in January, we had a lot of people who forgot to get their tickets, and they were emailing me last minute to sort it out. It wasn't easy, guys, so make sure you book your tickets soon. We will email anyone who has a ticket the details of the venue and the location 48 hours prior to the event. Join us. There will be a free drinks on the house for you guys, and you get to have a chat with me and other guests as well. And we do, as I've mentioned before, this channel, the daily shows will remain free for all, but we have also created a membership club for people who want to get more out of us and this channel. Members only live streams, live Q&As, exclusive content, the sort of issues that affects our culture and our society that we really can't talk about them on the main channel, but also regular face-to-face meetup and social events. Now, if you're watching this video straight after its release time, then we are also doing a live stream, a live Q&A tonight at 8 p.m. on the same channel for everybody. So if you have any questions, you could leave the questions in the comment section or join us in the live stream and ask me live. And always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe, click on the bell next to it so you get notified, because we have a daily show at 5:45 p.m. on my Tousi. I'll see you guys at 8 p.m. on the live Q&A.